Why has Fortnite felt so boring? This is a question that I have kind of asked myself for a really long time, ever since like Chapter 6 started. And I found a really cool TikTok that I will play later, and I'll link all their stuff, like the TikTok account and the video in the description, so you can check them out. But I saw this video, and it really like made a lot of sense. And don't worry, I'll add to this TikTok. I'm not gonna just steal the TikTok. I'll probably play like a little portion of it, and then add my own input to it. So here it is.
I've seen a lot of content creators recently give their reasons on why they think Fortnite is so boring right now. And I mean, I know it's an opinion, but they are all wrong. I have not seen a single person say the reason why Fortnite sucks right now is because we haven't had a good seasonal mechanic since Chapter 5, Season 3. And when I say that, I'm not saying that the car mod mechanic was good. Personally, I was kind of indifferent towards it. I know I might be the only person that was indifferent towards it because everybody seems like they either hate it or love it. But what I'm saying is we haven't had a good seasonal mechanic that Epic has put time and work in since then. Since Season X, Fortnite either added a seasonal mechanic or a long-term change to the game up until Chapter 5, Season 3. My solution, since most of these mechanics were only for one season, bring them back. Not all at one time, but add like 2 or 3 and rotate them out each season. That'll keep things fresh and you won't have to do any extra work.
Our man had a really cool solution at the end that I kind of can vibe with, but I also think they should have a new thing somewhat consistently, but I understand it's kind of hard to make a new thing every season, especially because you've had like 30 plus seasons after, like, beforehand, and you have to like not make a mechanic that's too similar to another one. But I don't like, maybe that is why, but I just thought this video was interesting because it's just so strange to me, and I can't put my finger on it of why Fortnite just isn't as fun for me anymore. And it's not like not as isn't as fun. Like, I'm still having fun with Fortnite, but that's mostly because of reload, creative maps, like murder mystery, other main game modes that aren't the main game mode. This season has felt so boring. Like, they had some cool things, but then like the loot pool is just not something I personally care for. And I also think Fortnite should keep coming up, or keep trying to come up with these like out of the ballpark crazy lunatic ideas again. Because I personally think it's a lot, like, if you're going to flunk a season, if you're going to make a season bad, I'd rather you to just try something absolutely crazy than to just recycle the same things and make a boring season. I'd much rather like pull a Wrecked and it just doesn't hit the mark. I love Wrecked. I think Wrecked is cool. I have some complaints about it, like, for example, how they put the boogie bombs in and then they took them out and then they made the EMPs. And I talked about how, like, in Wrecked, it was supposed to be a car-based season. So whether you like that it's car-based or not, I don't like how Fortnite tends to do this. Well, it seems that like they listen to the complaints for the sacrifice of the season's theme or what they're going for. And what I mean by that is Wrecked is supposed to be a car-based season. So like I said, whether you like it or not, I feel like they should stick to that theme unless it's going overboard. I'm not saying they can't nerf the cars, but when they added EMPs and replaced boogie bombs, that made cars like a death wish. Because if you were in a car and someone got close to you, which, by the way, there was so much mobility in that season, if someone got close to you, they would just throw an EMP in your car. You're forced to either, and if you stayed in the car, they could throw another EMP to lower your shield even more. And if you got the car, they could still throw another EMP and to lower your shield even more. The only time you could really get out is when you had shockwaves or nitro fist and you immediately got out of your car. Which, yeah, you could do, but then they could also have shockwaves and nitro fists. So I thought that for the season's theme specifically, boogie bombs would be better, even though personal enjoyment, I liked the EMPs more in the game, and I would have had less fun if the boogie bomb stayed. And I think that Fortnite should just commit to their ideas unless they're really bad. like really, really bad. With Wrecked, it was 50-50. Half the people liked it, half the people didn't like it. And with adding EMPs, you made you made the one half who didn't like the season, or who did like the cars and did like the season, you made them mad, and then you also didn't really solve the problem with the other side, because while they can deal with the cars more, they still don't really like the season. So you should cater to the people who like the season. Unless, now, if it's a unanimous, most, if not all people hate the season, then obviously you should go back to the drawing board. But maybe not an entire retcon, but I don't like how they have these ideas and then they just immediately scrap them sometimes. And like, I understand I'm asking for new mechanics, but like, they had like how the video said, they had the boss mechanic in Chapter 7, Season 1. I thought that was really cool. But then for some reason, people complained that bosses were broken, which I didn't think they were broken. I thought they were very well balanced. I thought that, yeah, if you're going out your way to find these bosses that are marked on the map, that anybody could third party you and kill you before you get the boss transformation or as you're transforming, you should become a literal boss. But then when they got nerfed, they became pretty much like horrible. And I thought they were like usable and kind of good with before the nerfs, and they were just really bad after the nerfs. And even before the nerfs, like you were marked on the map. So it still wasn't crazy good, but you could use it, and you could, if you're really good with it, you could be a boss. You could literally dominate the game. It was an interesting concept. And then they nerfed it. And then nobody ever uses it, or hardly anybody ever uses it. They really only kill the bosses for the mythics, which I will admit, I think the mythics are pretty cool. But even then, it's just like, I have high hopes for the Norse season coming up, and I really wish this season wasn't just like a boring like fresh restart type of season. I really wish it was like like a chapter 6 season 1 or a chapter 4 season 1 where they have a very distinct theme that they go for, because I don't like how like a good amount of the season 1s, they just have these like no theme type of seasons. Where like, I'm not saying they all are bad, like chapter 3 season 1 I enjoyed, chapter 5 season 1 I enjoyed, but these like fresh restart type of seasons where they're just like, I understand they can attract players to come back to the game, but I do think they should go all out with them, just like how they would any season. But I can understand why they do it. It's just they should add more content, and this season has felt the most boring season, one of the most boring seasons for me personally. Because like Primal I thought was boring, but it was like very bad in my opinion. I thought Primal was pretty bad, but it was also pretty boring. It was boring because it was bad, and you didn't really have much to do. With this season, there are things I like, but because the updates are just so lackluster in my opinion, they don't really hit the mark, and there's not much to do with this season. Like I thought the Love and Legends like crossbow was kind of cool, but then it was only in the game for like a few days. And the power hour idea is cool, but I honestly don't think it should be an hour. I think it should be like a day or like a week or whatever. That way, and maybe have like power weeks where like every week there's something new. And I don't know if y'all remember this. I remember this very distinctively. I think somewhere back in chapter 3, maybe it was in chapter 4 as well. I think it was. They used to do this thing called like weeks. And these weeks, they would have them towards the end of every season. And they would have these weeks where every week there was just, or I think it was every week. Yeah, it was every week. They would have a theme. So like it was like Fire Week for 1 week where they brought back the fire bow, the flare gun, the I think the recyclers in. I don't know if it was, but they added fire themed weapons. The Dragon's Breath, they all added that. And then there was like Slurp theme with like the Slurp cannon and or I don't know if it was, I think it was exotic theme where like Shadow Tracker, Slurp cannon, all that stuff. They, maybe it's not exactly what they added, but I remember these weeks and I thought they were so cool. I think they should add those again. I don't think we should just be sitting, waiting patiently or impatiently for the next season. I think they should bring back these weeks because they seem to like the idea of having these limited time things that shake up the game for a bit. But yet they don't. Yet they got rid of the weeks. Like they have the power hours, but they didn't get. But they got rid of the weeks. So that just didn't make sense to me. And just like overall, the past like few seasons have felt pretty boring. Like I liked the Simpsons season, and I think it was good that it only lasted a month, but it wasn't nothing too amazing in my opinion. It just, like I said earlier, Chapter 6 was just such a bad, bad season in my opinion, or bad chapter. Like, it had some all-stars, or some really good seasons, in my opinion, like Season 1, and Simpsons season, but then like Super, I liked the ideas, but the map wasn't anything that I particularly enjoyed, too much. And then like Season 2, I I thought I should like it. Like that's once again, like I said earlier, with Chapter 6, it's just like it feels like I should like it, but I don't. Like I don't like it that much, but it feels like I should. You know what I'm saying? Like it feels like I should love Chapter 6 and should be like my top three, but it isn't. And I'm only making this video because I haven't had the genuine joy out of the game in like a while. Like Simpsons season, I had some fun, but then like season one, once again, I keep mentioning Simpsons and season one, but like I haven't had like genuine like unbridled. That's not the word. Just pure joy out of the game in like a while. And versus like chapter 5, like I remember like oh yeah, like season 3 for example. Oh yeah, let's land Megalodon. Let's land near it. Go to that dock with like the slurp cactus with like the Bright Raider NPC. Get the Boombo launch pad. Get the medallion. Get the car. Get the shotgun. Run in people's faces. Get the nitro fist. Like it was so fun. Even, and I'm not even just talking about like chapter 5, because I've played every season of Fortnite. I've played even preseason. I've been playing since the second day of the game releasing. And when I say I've played every season, I'm not saying I've played a few games. I'm saying that I've played a respectable amount of games of every season. And so coming from me, I just miss the fun I had in chapter 5, in chapter 4, in chapter 3, in chapter 1. Like, I had so much fun in these seasons, and it wasn't because of I was younger or anything. It was genuinely because the game was fun. And while I'm having fun with, like, for example, them adding Kafka and Blade, because, like, these were, like, wish lists. Like, I was, it was one of those collabs where it's, like, it felt too out of the ballpark that would never happen, but it happened. And it was so, it filled me with so much joy. But that's just a collab. If we're talking about the actual game, like I said, I just haven't having much fun. And so I want to make more videos about the game, but the only thing I can really talk about is just the sad commentary videos where I just talk about things that are bad. And so if you would like to see that, I can maybe do it. But I've had like so many scrapped video ideas because I thought they were just I would have too many sad videos in a row or too many videos that were like talking about the state of the game. But I haven't had really much ideas outside of that, so I might just keep doing it. But yeah, that was just a little rant video. It wasn't much of like genuinely deep diving, but I just wanted to talk with y'all. So if you have any interesting reasons for the game might being boring or anything like that, you can leave them in the comments. And yeah, have a wonderful day. Bleh.